Hi, my name is Valentine Wheeler, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a reading from my new book, Piece of Cake, that comes out tomorrow, June 21st. It's a novella about a retired dad whose daughters want him to get out more. It's set in my Swanley universe with no parking and give way, but it does not require any knowledge of the previous books. They are all just people living in the same town. So I would love to give you a taste of what is coming in Piece of Cake tomorrow. I don't need to get out more. Richard thrust the catalog back at Andy, who laughed, held up her hands, and refused to take it. I get out plenty. She shook a finger at him, leaning back against his kitchen counter. Dad, you go to the supermarket, the bakery, and the library, and that's it. That's out. I'm not a hermit or a shut-in. He flipped the catalog open. I don't need... He sighed and fumbled for his reading glasses, shoving them on his face. Basket weaving? Why in the world would I need to weave a basket, Andy? What would I even put in a basket? I don't know. Magazines? Fresh fruit? That's not the point. She huffed and crossed her arms. We're worried about you, Dad. You don't see anybody except us. And with Charlie deployed, it's just down to Ellen and Ricky and me. That's not true, said Richard. I have lunch with Bruce and Andrea sometimes. Talk about the old days. Oh, yeah? When was the last time? Richard shifted uncomfortably. Was it this year? I don't know, Andy. I don't keep a diary. If you can't remember, it's been too long. I see Marianne and Rana and Roger at the store. Roger Frederick? The checkout kid doesn't count. Neither do people you're paying to make you food, Dad, Andy replied. Come on, it could be fun. You might make some friends. I'm not a child. I don't need to make new friends. Andy frowned. Everyone needs friends, Dad. You need someone to talk to besides your kids and your waiters. Richard thought her tone was getting a little bit patronizing. I talked to Tony from work last week, he retorted. She shook her head. No, you called your office about your pension, and Tony picked up. That doesn't count either. Richard sighed again and glanced down at the page. What do you want from me, kiddo? Because I can tell you this much. I'm not taking up hot yoga, no matter how many gift certificates you send me. Andy gave him a long look, letting the silence speak for itself. Rubbing a hand through his hair, Richard closed his eyes. She could always outglare him, even before she could talk. Since Mom died, I don't want to talk about your mother, he said sharply, then forced himself to soften his tone. I'm fine, Andy. I'm worried about you. Did you see that study about how loneliness kills seniors? Please, will you just take a look at the catalog? Richard groaned. Okay, yes, you win. Yes, I saw the study. Your wife mailed me the newspaper clipping. He shook his head. Ellen is not a subtle woman, you know. Fine, I'll look at the damn classes. He pointed a finger at her. But no promises. Good. Andy's smile was gleeful, but she forced it into something calmer. We want you to be happy, Dad. He sighed. Kids. Retirement was nice. Retirement was quiet. Richard finally had all the time he wanted to sit and catch up on his New Scientist and National Geographic, not to mention tackling the dusty stacks of novels that had been piling up by his bed for years. Before he retired, he'd made it through about a paragraph each evening before jolting himself awake with his own snoring, at which point he'd give up for the night. The first week post office was glorious. No waking up early, no walking long routes carrying 40 pounds of mail in his shoulder bag, no arguing with an incompetent manager half his age over speed and accuracy, just deciding for himself what he was doing and when he was doing it. The second week was also nice, with Andy stopping by Tuesday to meet him for breakfast and bringing pizza on Sunday nights they could watch and argue about the new Riverdale on his massive high-definition TV. The third week, he dragged a chair outside and sat in the late May sun watching birds flit through the trees and clouds tumble across the sky. When Scotty, who had been Andy's friend in high school and had grown a foot since then, brought the mail around 4 o'clock, he brought them a cold soda and told them that retirement would be worth it in 20 years or so, to keep at it. Scotty had laughed and told him that they weren't ready to start counting the years down because the number was still way too high. Week 4, he did yard work in the early summer sun and got a call from Charlie at her new post in Bahrain. You sound bored, Dad, she said, after promising for the 10th time that she was being safe and taking her medicine. Don't you miss having something to do? I have plenty to do, he replied. For instance, I just painted the fence a whole new color. Wow, that's bold, Dad. It's not white anymore? He grinned. It's eggshell. Charlie's groan was the best thing he'd heard all week. So check out Piece of Cake on Amazon. There's a link below in the description. And I hope to hear what you think of Richard and all the new folks he's going to meet once he finally has to go to that class.